Alright. There you go. I'm sorry. Alright, I'm sort of back on YouTube. Sort of. Now, the reason why I say sort is because I just recently got away from my vacation. But now I'm dealing with back pain, so ironically that just started right when my vacation ended, so I have to take an extended vacation, which I don't want to. Made all the recordings and the troll video is all ready. I just have to render it today, but I feel like I have to take, after that video, probably another 2 days of vacation because starting backache's actually literally killing me in this sense. Boy, that's going to be difficult to take care of. But yeah, I'm sort of back at least. I'm just hoping that I can deal with this backache. Got myself a brand new chair. And hopefully things turns out better for most cases. I certainly hope. Now, I'm going to invite one person because this one person mentioned he wants to go on a stream with me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste the link. Now, it's obviously not going to go onto here, but I'm going to directly give this guy the link. If he ever sees this, I don't know if he ever sees my hangouts in time, at least. Okay, let me just play back the IO, just try to make sure this headset works. All right, it seems like that the background noise isn't affecting anything, which is nice. I bought these headsets specifically for that because my laptop that I used to observe Twitter, sometimes it acts that way. There you go. Now I just sent the link to James Maxwell. Hopefully he'll come on to the show. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, everything seems to be working hunky-dory. So, what else do I need to do? Oh yeah, gotta post a link on Twitter, attract a few people that, if they're really interested into potentially joining. There we are. I think that's the right link. Yep, that should be the right link. Oh, whoops. I accidentally sent them the wrong link. Duh. Wait, no, wait, that is the right link. So if that's the right link... Oh, I see. I see what the problem is. Compose. There we are. All right. There we are. Now it's going through. Now, if you don't know what I'm doing, in a sense, I tend to move links around through computers because the one I'm working on refuses to work on Twitter completely at all, so I can't really tweet this out, so I have to email it to myself on another computer separately. I know that may seem strange, but it's computer difficulties. There we are. And gotta double check to make sure the link works. Yep, the link works. Nice. Everything seems to be working all right. But yeah, I'm certainly back. I'm yeah. Let's see here. But yeah, I'm sort of back. I just got back from vacation. I have this terrible backache. Don't know where it came from, but it's just there. And I'm almost done with the Troll Veil. The problem is I can't muster the strength to actually finish it. Uh, hmm. I should also let my own community know if on what's going on. So I'll also post the link there. Um, for anybody that's really interested. Okay. Oh, by the way, I also like to make an announcement. If anybody's really interested in doing the guest fails for me, that's totally fine. You can still do it. You just got you just gotta either uh, let me know, and you can upload on your YouTube, and I'll download it, or email it to me, or upload, but put it on unlisted, and you give me a link, and I can then do like that. But you just gotta let me know if you're still interested in doing the guest videos, because there's no actual time limit on what the things, at least. Now, as I said before, I do have a Google Plus community, and I usually use them, or I wouldn't say use them, but I use a community to safely drop the link for people that want to join. They get free access to the Hangouts because those are people I trust. They're individuals that I know for a fact are going to. I can confidently say I trust them, and like the trolls that like does the Google snipe thing, just porn drop hangouts. They're not like those people, so I can safely say I can put the link there. Okay. And let me post the link also here. Let me just do this. But yeah, I'm back for the most part. Just dealing with bad headache, or not headache, backache, and I got done with a bunch of avatar drawings, which is cool. And I'm hoping at some point I'll be able to get enough free time to test out the new GIMP program. Now, for those that don't know, I recently downloaded GIMP, and GIMP is basically the equivalent of Photoshop. It's not as advanced, but it's actually quite free, and it does most of the same functionalities of Photoshop, which will allow me to image and turn it into image overlays, which basically means my videos will come out a lot better because I can finally just take any picture I want and turn them into video overlays, and it'll make the videos look much better. Also working on an experimental set of program. Now it's basically a Twitter GIF downloader. What that does is it downloads Twitter GIFs, I believe they're called, and you can render them into videos. And the experiment it's still ongoing, by the way, mind you. The experiment is to see if it's possible for me to make a normal video, but put your GFI also in the same video on the right hand corner. That way, you'd be able to see the video and also whatever Twitter mini video you see. A few already downloaded, and you'll know when I finally be able to master that, because I tried doing it on my latest Steve Shives video and it didn't exactly work and I think I know what the problem was. The problem was it wasn't. So I should have watched that, and if I did, then it would have came out a lot better, but oh well. But yeah. Let me see if I can't I'm going to stretch out my legs here. And let's see here. So far, no one yet, but oh well. I suppose. I'm going to tag a few people. People I haven't spoken to for a long time. But I've been needing to talk to them for reasons. but hopefully they'll be able to join in. Let's see here. Hashtag, there you go. There. Let me see if, there you go. All right, sent the link out to those guys. See if they're interested. But yeah, I got a few things I have on my mind. One of them lately is, I guess, the direction of my channel is in concerns because while I was on vacation, I kept asking myself, okay, yeah, with all the feminism and SJW sort of stuff disappearing, what's left there to talk about, really? And I guess I'm tempted to make an announcement video about that, but I might as well just say it on air, on the Hangouts instead. Like, I guess my direction in terms of YouTube should be more directed towards debunking MGTOWs and stuff of that nature, and or veganism if that becomes a thing. The reason being is because, well, there isn't much left to talk about, really. And there's a lot of problems within the MGTOW community, don't get me wrong. So it's really a matter of just the fact that eventually it's going to get harder and harder to talk about any other subject because all the feminists and SJWs will probably be gone off of YouTube by a certain point. So, and without an enemy, people will just devolve into attacking each other. And that's sort of the nature of communities, or whatever you may call it, or it's, I don't care. Without that major boogeyman that the community hates or fears, naturally it'll start to eat itself alive because there's no one else to attack, really. And that's what I feel like is happening with a few certain subjects. Uh, Let me refresh the page one more time. There we are. There we are. They also had hashtag another person. Hopefully we can get a conversation soon. I'll be right back. I just gotta mute my own mic because I gotta get some water, man. Gotta get some water. Mm. All right, I'm back. Uh, Let me just double check. Uh, mm, this is painful. Ouch. But I'll uh, persevere. I'll push forward into whatever this is. Hmm. Eh, Later tonight, I'm certainly going to scan those lizard drawings I have and use those in my videos. That's going to trigger so many Miglies, it's ridiculous. Hmm. One thing I really need to talk about is After Effects, which I'm hoping I could save up some money for that. That's going to be my birthday present, more or less. I'm definitely going to be saving up for After Effects because I intend on just improving a lot of things, really. And After Effects allows you to do a whole lot more things. It's kind of like Adobe Premiere Elements 14 that I have, or 13, but the difference is you get to actually animate stuff. Like actually create, say, an energy ring, for example, and or add the Aurora Borealis. And basically it's a tool set starter for making veil backgrounds, which I already know how to use. I actually have a collection of them now since just recently I discovered a cool website named pixel.com, I believe. There you can actually find you can actually find some actual free video backgrounds that you can actually download, which are pretty sweet. And and that website also allows you to download pictures, but I'm not really so much interested in the pictures. It's more or less the video background sort of stuff. And also the extra capability of making your own, which is interesting to me. Now, granted, that website's hard to navigate if you don't know what you're looking for because most of the stuff there costs money, but every now and then you can find something that's completely free. And it's those particular ones that I use are are completely free that I prefer to use. Even have one right now. Works if I'm pretty sure I have the plugins, but I don't know if I have the sound, unfortunately. I may be able to demonstrate one of them at least I downloaded. Nope, not what I'm looking for. So it does work. Amazing. Alright, so let me play back. Nope. Doesn't look like it allows me, but oh well. Basically, it's just a repeat of a lake. A tree sort of in the middle of it. There we are. I had to post a link to two other sites, just seeing if they're interested in having a conversation. Hmm. Oh, I also want to mention that. I also want to mention that I'm still able and willing to do collabs. So let me know if you ever will need one for me, and I'm willing. I'm willing to have a collab with other people. Um, Granted, I have a few videos in mind that yeah, if you want to do a collab with me, propose some of those ones. Like I have a video from the Red Pill Ghost that I've actually on purpose saved that video for a collab if anybody's interested. And I got a few others as well. Um, let's see here. There. Hmm? Oh, hey, Quiet Atheist. I didn't see you there for 1 sec. Everything's doing fine. I just got off of my vacation. Let me know if you want in, and I can always send you the link. Let me also type this in just to make sure that I'm actually functioning. Uh, I'm also testing out the. I'm also testing out a wireless connection now. My computer's always been connected directly, like via. I see. You have noisy kids. Well, that's totally fine by me. I don't particularly mind, but this is what I would do. it's just you and I watching, so I'll just post a link right here. Anytime you want to come in, there's a link. I'll be keeping an eye on that link. If you do join, I'll make sure to remove it. But yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm just doing a random hangout, seeing if people are in any sense of possibility interested. Nobody has to join if they don't want to. Just saying. Other than that, I'm talking about random things. The direction of what my channel's going to be. Possible plans on my future videos, and certainly me saving enough money for After Effects. Heard a lot of good things about that program. It's kind of the program that allows you to do, in a sense, create your own little animations. And I guess the big reason why I'm trying to push for all this stuff, the big reason why I'm trying to push for like better videos and better stuff like that is because you know, I came on YouTube because I don't care that much about popularity, but I'm coming to realize that every time I'm doing these hangouts, nobody's showing up. So be nice, but not too much, just enough to get at least someone to pay attention to me. And only because I actually like talking to people and I don't like being ignored all the time. Huh. But if you have any questions or things you want me to say, I will make sure to answer them with the best of my ability. And I just want to make sure that this link is operable. Yep, it's operable, which means that it can be used, which is cool. There. Yep, it's working. I had to refresh. Let me type in this in the chat because that's a weird glitch I'm noticing. There. Had to make sure that was fixed. I'm actually glad for once I don't have to work today because normally, so what am I working on now? I'm actually working on two videos. One is a troll video that I'm taking a piss off of some crazy Miglies that they simply are upset me. and I'm using some of the lizard stuff I post on Twitter just to piss him off, basically. Also, let me just put this in there. But yeah, just working on a troll video. And the other one is a response to Dick Coughlin. Now, granted, I'm not entirely sure if this response video will work because I've heard that he may have deleted his own video. Which, if that's the case, I'm going to be angry at Dick Coughlin because I hate when people delete their videos right before I respond to them. It just shows that they're afraid of criticism. Hey. Well, what do you expect? Quiet. She was my original girl. You stole her, so I'm just stealing her back. uh, I am pretty good at drawing lizard girls. Recently I downloaded the GIMP program, which allows me to create. Basically, it allows me to create memes, and I can cut images off and put them into new stuff. So that's how I created that Game of Thrones picture for you, Quietist. I just copied two lizard ladies from my video, or from my collection, propped to heads and Game of Thrones, and voila. Uh, another, I guess another thing I've been trying to do is this experimental program. It's called a Twitter GIF downloader. Now, what it allows you to do is you can download Twitter GIFs. They're basically the little miniature videos that you can post into a Twitter chat. It allows me to download that and convert them into a video, and I can actually put those into my video format. And I don't necessarily know if the program I'm using is compatible, but render it looks like it can work. Yeah. So keep an eye out for me using the oh snap Twitter GIF sort of thing. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty good at drawing too. My best to finish them, but I'm kind of like you. I almost never finish them. The ones I do finish are the ones I do post online. Most of them never get finished. I have like a dozen or so. Oh, hey, AJ. It's been a while. There we go. There you are. I'm doing fine. Just making my announcement. I am coming back from break, my vacation. I'm just having a bad backache, but that hasn't exactly stopped me from making videos again. I may warn you, AJ James. I made three sexy lizard ladies that I don't know if like them. I mean, I may have went too far on them. Oh, sure. I can oh, hey, proposal discussion. Oh, you're the dolphin guy. I remember. Sure, I can certainly send you the link. It'll only take me a minute. While I'm here, let me grab the link. It will only take me a minute at least. I'll also put in my own Google Plus community. That way, you can join. I'm posting links. Join here. Now I'll go back to. I'll have to DM you the. There you go. Okay, there. Oh, on Discord? I can easily do that too. It only take me a sec. Yeah, shoot. I grabbed the darn mouse. Because sometimes these things fail on me a lot. All right. Your name is Proposal. All right, I think I posted there.
What up?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm just trying to replug in the darn mouse because every time I it's just annoying. There we go.
How you been, man?
Good. You mentioned you wanted to have a chat.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on some food to cook. So
I see.
you said you were down to have some people show up or whatever. So I said, you know, fuck it, I'll pop in, see what's going on.
I invited a few people in, and I'm not entirely sure if they'll ever show up or not. So, yeah, the topic for today is literally just me saying I'm coming back from vacation. I'm working on an experimental video, which I've never seen anyone else do, but basically it's just a normal video, but I've downloaded Twitter GIFs and I actually incorporate those into my videos.
Interesting. What
Awesome.
what program do you use?
Let's see here. I use the Adobe Premiere Elements 14. It's a limited version of Adobe Premiere, but it's more geared towards video making, so it doesn't have the Photoshop sort of stuff with anything else. Allows me to create better content in terms of layering each video and basically that it's more geared towards making videos. But I'm working on a troll video that will upset the Migleys again.
I had somebody from I guess that ascribes to MGTOW on one of my streams the other day. He didn't seem like he was like super deep into it, more just like the on the side of like the laws, you know, some of the laws that are fucked up towards men or whatever, which is pretty much like where I kind of draw the line, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I get that, I really do. And I always have a conversation with some of those MGTOWs. They and me don't have an issue. It's usually the ones that are batshit crazy that think women have no souls.
Yeah, like the monks. You were telling me about the monks or whatever. I brought that up to him. I was like, so what about these monks or whatever? He's like, those people are crazy. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
you sound like a rational
they
person,
are
crazy.
That's good. Nuts. I mean, they're a separate sect of MGTOWs, and I always respond to them above all else because they're the only ones making crazy claims. Like, ironically enough, I was actually talking about Red Pill Ghost on Twitter 2 days ago, and this MGTOW was like there are no MGTOWs that are anti-gay. Then I gave this guy a link of Red Pill Ghost when Red Pill Ghost was bashing against gays. Then all suddenly that guy on Twitter blocks me. What the fuck?
Well, yeah, you prove someone wrong. I mean, come on, that's the world we live in, right?
Yeah.
I can't be wrong. I need to shut down all evidence of my wrongness, so I can maintain my fucking totally invalid self-worth.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's whenever I talk about a subject, it's always a MGTOW and the monkism that I have an issue with. I don't have an issue with better people like the Matt Shingy or Chu Sherman. They're okay. They're pretty okay people. I just have an issue with just the crazy monks, and especially the ones that think it's okay to call people pedophiles just because they criticize them. Which I was labeled a pedophile, all because I criticized Traversible.
Wait, somebody called you a pedophile?
Yeah, just because I criticized Traversible.
All right. Sure, I guess.
But yeah, it's more or less the crazy ones that'll use any word to try and shut down the conversation.
It's pretty much like if you criticize former President Obama, they'll call you a racist. It's like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess I'm a racist now.
Yeah. Now, moving off of the subject, did you by chance see the did you see by chance some of the Twitter tweets I tweeted out for the images, the lizard images I made?
I saw a couple of them, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, I'm hoping I can incorporate some of those. The purpose of the lizards is to be a troll parody because it really does drive some of the crazy people mad whenever I use them.
Why? Just because they have like titties?
Well, that and I've actually had a couple bigger YouTubers say that they would actually date them because they're that hot.
Oh yeah, could you imagine getting like sucked off by a Cthulhu? Like tentacles are all like playing with your balls and shit. Like, man, I mean, I'd be down.
Nah, some people have told me about that, and do you want to know something funny? I believe it or not, when I made my first troll video, some guy contacted me on Twitter and he legitly thought I was a woman, just with a bad hormonal imbalance where it made me sound like a guy even though I was a girl. Then, even though I'm not a girl, obviously, and I told him that I wasn't exactly a girl, and he was trying to hit on me, and he blocked me afterwards. And I actually had to look him up, and he was actually one of those very, very close-minded men that hates all women. And I just found it funny that he was trying to hit on me at first.
You said, well, yeah, that's sounds like a loser to me. But you said not exactly a girl.
Oh, well, I'm a guy. I'm just saying, but he thought I was a girl.
Oh, okay,
that's what I'm saying.
So you're like a guy born a guy and like still a guy.
Yeah,
okay. I mean, it's not important or anything. You said not exactly a girl, and it's kind of.
Sorry, I may have misworded that.
Confuzzled me a little bit.
Sorry, I
don't care.
But the point is, he thought I was a girl, and he was trying to hit me. I told him that I'm not a girl, and he blocked me, and that pretty funny.
You should just went with it. I mean, fuck it, why not?
You know, I should have. I should have been a troll and just pretended, but
I got a friend that what's the game? I think League of Legends or whatever. He's been playing this game League of Legends with I don't know, some guy who thinks that he's a chick, and he this guy started flirting with him or whatever, and he just fucking went with it. He's like, sure, whatever, because this guy just doesn't care or whatever, and so he played that off, and this is like I don't know, I think like a 2 or 3 year thing going on now at this point, and this guy that thinks that my friend is a chick, like he buys him like Steam cards and gives him Steam credits so he can buy games and shit like that. Right?
wow,
Yeah.
sore loser right there.
Right.
Oh man,
Well, didn't you know if you buy chicks Steam cards, they'll totally like just drop their panties for you?
yeah, I
You know,
I know.
obviously, pro tip for anybody out there who's watching this, if you're trying to pick up chicks, just buy her Steam card. It's been proven to work time after time.
Yeah, I just find it funny that with those sort of situations, it just seems like some people just fall into that sort of trap of assuming one guy is a girl, and I always found that funny. Uh, the troll veil. I'm kind of trying to work on a response to Dick Coughlin because he's kind of a dum dum.
That name sounds familiar. I don't think I'm really. What
Uh,
has he done?
Not much. He's just a guy that is very like. Basically, he made this video saying that words cannot ever change over time, and I'm trying to make a response video letting him know that yes, words do change. That's why certain words like consent and feminism and all these terms and names do change over time if people just use them wherever they want. Basically,
Social. I actually just read a paper the other day written by somebody, like I think over a decade ago, um, who man, I really wish I remember who it was or whatever. But anyway, he was talking about in his paper like how the term social justice has changed over time, and like the first time it was ever used was by a pope, like say early 1800s, maybe somewhere a while ago, and it didn't mean what it means today. And even in his uh, paper, he outlined like the different like nuances. Like now, social justice is like essentially like total equality for everyone. Like equality of outcome, like everyone's the same essentially. Which fuck, that would be a boring world, right? Um, but before it was more like you know what nationalism is, right?
oh
Before
yeah,
it was
I,
like
I definitely know that.
when the Pope first brought it up, it was like all of the terminology around it was like nationalistic type thing. So it was like social justice and in regards only to like your community. Like if the children in your community need education, then you help them with education and so on and so on. And now social justice has basically become like everybody in the world needs to have the exact same things. Nobody should go without an iPhone 7 if they have
Hmm.
those. iPhone 6 maybe. Do they have iPhone 7s?
Wait, are you talking about the Vatican?
Yes. Yeah, it would have been the Vatican.
Ah, well, I don't necessarily know if they have iPhones there, but I'd imagine they do in terms of well, the police and emergency services. But beyond that, I don't necessarily know because in terms of the Vatican, remember, they operate like a safe state, and part of their rules have a on certain technological sort of things. Like, no, they do have internet. They do have phones, but they're a bit behind in the world.
Interesting.
Like they have most of everything. It's just your iPhones, or certainly the iPhone that you can put on your wristwatch. They don't, for some odd reason. I guess the only people that you have that stuff is either it's usually either the police, emergency services, and or the royal guard of the Pope. Granted, they don't exactly talk about that much about it.
I still sorry, typing. I still find it ironic that the Pope, who lives in the Vatican, which is a walled city, tells Trump that, you know, walls are bad. We shouldn't build walls, says the man living in his walled city.
Yeah, I always found that hypocritical, because the Pope literally is.
You're the last person in the world to be talking about people not wanting walls. Like, come on, my dude.
Yeah, like I really find them hypocritical, because I mean, the Pope literally lives in a walled off city, and not to mention not to mention the Pope has extremely backwards, and talks sort of the same level as Trump. So I don't think he's in a position to be arguing about Trump if he talks in the same level as him.
I think the Pope. I think overall the Pope is more or less just trying to, like, I don't know, get a name for himself. You know, get back in the media spotlight. So like Catholicism gets back in the minds of people. So that, you know, like, hey, just to let you know, Catholicism is still a thing. If you guys want to, you know, sign up for it, we're here. We still exist. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, and that's probably what he's just trying to do. Is just trying to make his version of religion more popular, just by making that statement. But in regards to the Pope, I'm pretty sure he'll do whatever he can to just get that attention, because
well, the last Pope was the guy who spent all the money and had like Gucci and Prada and all that other stuff or whatever, you know, the fucking red like slippers, and spent all the money and was living it up fabulous and shit. So I mean, I think he did I don't know, probably brought a lot of negativity, you know, in the eyes of the public towards the what's it called? The papacy. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, as far as I know, that particular Pope did do a lot of those things, but I think the current Pope is trying to reform all that. The problem is it's incredibly difficult to reform that sort of I wouldn't say past, but certainly system, especially when the cardinals that aren't on the same level as him, but just below, are pretty conservative on a lot of views, and that's going to make change pretty slow.
Oh yeah, of course. I don't know. I don't knock the new guy for trying, but the hypocrisy of his most famous statement is definitely not lost on me at all. And he hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything about it since. Because I remember when he came out, there was a lot of people, me included, who was like, "Wait a minute, what are you talking about, my dude?" Like,
yeah, I know you feel like he made that speech, and it was a big shocker. But ever since then, he hasn't said anything important or anything else for that matter. And I really truly think the current Pope is just saying all these things to get the attention, because I keep looking for evidence of him actually trying to do anything, and all I see is nothing. So I really think he's just saying a lot of things just to get attention.
I read a story about where was this? Ireland, maybe? I don't know. I don't think the exact location really matters. But essentially, there was I don't know, maybe a cardinal or somebody higher up in like the Catholic religion, who was one of the heads of a church, and the people, the other people that were in charge of the church, were having Muslims come in to the church, and they were allowing them to give speeches in the church to like the Catholics and stuff that went to the church, and their speeches more or less consisted of like rhetoric that was like, if you're not Muslim, you're going to hell and you're the infidel and stuff like that. So like this one guy, the guy in question or whatever, was like, no, these motherfuckers need to get the hell out of our church. Like, and I agree with him. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, if I was a Catholic and I went to church, the last thing I would want to do when I went to church was listen to like someone from another faith tell me about how my faith was wrong and that I'm an infidel and I'm you know what I'm saying? Like it just it doesn't make sense. But anyway, so that guy like spoke up about it, and he was trying to like kick the Muslims out of the Catholic Church and stuff, and they basically like stripped him of his role and forced him to retire and shit, which I thought was pretty fucking sad, honestly. It's like, damn, dude, the guy was like, I mean, we're talking about religion, right? So this guy obviously was serious about his religion, and he wanted to like give his life to God or whatever the fuck the case may be, right? And he's just trying to look out for like his parish or whatever the fuck it's called. He's trying to look out for his people. You know what I mean? Like he understands that these people come here to hear our message, and that's what they like. They didn't come here because they wanted to hear, the Ahmed or whoever, come in here and tell them that they're fucking sinners and infidels, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would say the same thing if it was the other way around. Like if it was a Muslim mosque or whatever, and like the leaders of that mosque were letting like the Westboro Baptist Church come in there and tell them about how like, God hates fags and God hates Muslims and Durka Muhammad Jihad, you're all sinners and stuff like this. Like I would be against that too. You know what I mean? Like people don't go to church to like, I don't know, have that type of situation. You know what I mean? Like most people who go to church, go to church because, I mean, it might not seem like a good time to a lot of people or whatever, but to them, it's a good time. You know what I mean? Like they go there, they're with quote unquote family, an extended family. And I don't know, man, it's just weird. Just fucking weird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I can see why that can be a weird situation. I'm guessing that part of the reason why maybe the church decided to throw out that cardinal was I'm guessing that it was probably because they were trying to make it so that they were tolerant enough to actually listen to other opinions. But
right. But if they're coming in and they're telling you like you're infidels and shit, like that's, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Yeah. There's like a line, you know what I mean? And that clearly crosses the line.
Yeah, that practically does cross the line. I can agree with you there. Like it especially when you say that in a house of place where it's mostly supposed to be about love and care. Granted, I don't buy into the idea that the churches are about love and care these days anymore. But
no, there's more about money.
Yeah, more about indoctrination, money, and also preaching the death of non-believers. And granted, not all churches, as far as I know, do that, but I'm really am certain a lot of the Muslims ones do that all the time. They tend to a lot of the Muslims ones they do tend to preach death to the infidels quite a lot, and it's very rare to see any mosques actually open up to opposing opinions in that sort of situation.
Right. Well, I mean, like I on one hand, I respect them for like opening up to a different opinion. You know what I mean? Like that's commendable. But it's, man, I don't know. Once it's like they start talking about the shit that they were talking about, it's like, come on, man. Like really is this necessary? Is diversity like so necessary that you're like I don't know what's it called, ostracizing your parish. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and I agree with you there. There's a time and place for diversity, but when it comes to religion, it's very difficult for diversity to even work like with this because there are certain Abrahamic religions that are not compatible with sharing, like Islam. Like with Islam, it's like you have to obey the Islamic commandments or you die. And granted, Christians used to be that way, but they're not anymore, so they're not much of an issue. It's still mostly uh, it is still the Islamic faith, and they're kind of the reason why diversity and multiculturalism just doesn't work because you have one side that is willing to share everything, but the other side's like you have to conform to our version. And I know this because I I used to read a lot into Christopher Hitchens, and I've actually visited a very old Islamic town in the city I live in. But granted, it's nobody lives there anymore because apparently something happened, and most of them are gone now. But still, they're like if you get enough of them, they tend to reject the main society that they're introduced in, and they don't accept multiculturalism for any reason.
well, I don't have a problem with multiculturalism, but forced multiculturalism, that's a different topic. You know what I mean? Like if people want to come in, because I mean, essentially, you know, they say like, oh well, America is, you know, the melting pot. Now all it's ever been is multicultural and all this and that. But it's like, yes, but that's natural. You know what I mean? Like that was people coming over and starting a new country and bringing their different cultures with them, and then the cultures melded together because the people were working together and they all had more or less like the same. I don't want to say background because obviously they came from different places, but you know what I mean? Like the whole Western society type thing, European society. And, but when you get into like trying to like force by mass immigration two cultures to like, I don't know, coexist peacefully in the same realm, like it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like that's literally asking too much. It's like taking a hive of like red fire ants and taking a hive of like the black, whatever the black ants are called, and like putting them in the same box and expecting them to get along. No, the red ants come along and like they literally live to like kill and eat black ants. It's like, no,
Yeah,
guys, get along, stop all this, stop all this. No, you're supposed to get along. That's not how this works.
yeah, that doesn't work in that situation because, uh, again, like people really do believe that multiculturalism is the way to go, but it's not. It's not compatible with one side just being you have to conform or be terminated, and that's what I see as a problem in some places around the world that they want to enforce this multiculturalism thing, which I totally, oh, excuse me, sorry, almost burped, but I totally get the reasoning of why they may try and do that, but it's practiced if you have people that are not willing to conform. But there are places where they don't exactly have a multiculturalistic place, and they tend to get along pretty well. The only exception to a country that isn't multiculturalism but still have an issue is China, because with China, as far as I know, they bash against the Muslims really hard, but at the same time, the Muslims are still growing in size in there. And the big reason why they bash against the Muslims in China is because it's quite literally two different cultures. Like you have over 1,000-year-old culture that literally the oldest country on earth compared to Islamic faith that was only made about 400 or 500 years ago, and the two cultures are simply not compatible in terms of tradition or certainly common beliefs into a man and woman is, certainly. Like the Chinese, as far as I remember, my visits, like the man is supposed to take care of everything, but the woman has some responsibility in terms of family, and also the woman is able to actually have a say in the matter and all that. But that's simply not compatible with the Islamic faith, because we both know that with the Islamic faith, it's one directional. It's like the women have no rights and say. And I get that that's one of the main reasons why the Chinese culture is really eminently against the Islamic culture, despite the fact that as far as I know, the Muslims are growing in mass in China, as far as I know.
Well, that's their goal. I not only like personally have I known people that have said this, but I know other people that have known people that have said this type of thing. And not only that, but like you can see clips of this type of shit on YouTube and all over the place if you really search for it. But a lot of them will actually like come out and say like, "Hey, we're here to outbreed you. Like, we're gonna take your women, we're gonna fuck them, we're gonna pump our fucking Muslim babies in them. They're gonna have like 7 fucking Muslim babies, and then we're just gonna take you over in like a couple generations, and there's nothing you can do about it." Like that's some of these people like legitimately have this attitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and yeah, you can certainly find examples of that. As far as I know, like in the Chinese government, the reason why there is a growth of Islamic individuals there is because there's a rule in China where you can only have a minimum of 1 to 2 people. This only applies to residents of China. That's sort of the loophole on how the Muslims have been growing in mass. Doesn't affect them apparently. And the last time I heard about China was a week ago. I'm not entirely sure it was a rumor or not, but the Chinese government is kind of considering to extend the rule to foreigners as well. And the Muslims will be ordered that they can only have 1 to 2 children. But I don't think the Muslim minority there is going to listen to the government there. I really don't think that's going to happen.
Of course not.
Because whenever I look into China and their Islamic problem, the Islamics there act literally like the SJWs in America, where they tell everybody that they're oppressed because of the overwhelming culture around them, and that's how I would imagine it going down if that rumor is true, that the Chinese government wants to make it so that everyone in China can only have 1 to 2 children, with a pretty large fee of, well, I don't know what the currency of China is, but it's the equivalent of $1,000 or $2,000 per child in America currency.
Interesting. So China's paying the Muslims to have babies? Is that what I heard?
No, that's a fee if you want them born.
Oh, if you see, now that's what's up, because they're going to pay this fee, they're going to have them born, and then see, I'm personally of the mind that I think that the governments that are allowing this type of thing to happen, which I mean, I don't care if Muslims have babies, right? Like I don't give a fuck. Like I don't care. I just don't care. There's no reason for me to care. The part where I start to care is like when the governments of countries like import en masse Muslims from other countries and have them come into their countries and just start breeding and paying them and all this other stuff. Because what that does is it essentially threatens like the native population of that country. You know what I mean? So like if we're talking about France, then the French people are the ones being put out by this. You know what I mean? Like they're paying the tax dollars. They're literally going to work. They're working their asses off. They're having their wages garnished by the tax man to then be given over to these people who literally just want to come there and take their money and do nothing and pump out children that will then in turn also be taken care of by the French people's taxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And after a while, with the new generation, it'll eventually overturn the native society. And I really don't want China to go under because the thing is, they actually have 1,000 years of rich history that would be literally destroyed because when the Islamic Revolution happened in Iraq and Afghanistan, they literally destroyed the Persian Empire historical stuff
Mm-hmm.
quite literally because it wasn't Islamic. And the only reason why we still know of them is because thankfully, the rest of the world actually archived that stuff.
Right. Yeah. The ISIS, the same type of shit ISIS is doing, is going around and like burning down ancient temples and ancient monuments and shit like that.
Yeah, that's kind of why.
It's pretty fucking barbaric, honestly, if you think about it.
Yeah, that's why I believe if the rumors are true that the Chinese government is going to make it so that you can only have 1 to 2 people per limits for all citizens, regardless if you're born or not, and you have to pay a fee if you want them born. That's why I'm more supportive of that. If that rumor is true, of course. Like, I'm not entirely sure if that's accurate or not. True overall that with the Islamic faith, yeah, they're a danger because they tend to wipe out the previous historical society, and that destroys history.
Well, I've been saying for a while now, probably a good 6 months to a year, that the governments in these countries that are like encouraging this immigration are not going to give up on this. And the people are going to get tired of it, more and more tired of it as each day goes by. And they're going to be telling their governments more and more as each day goes by that they need to stop. You know what I mean? They need to stop. They need to do something about this. They need to start deporting the people who are dangerous. And the governments are going to ignore them. And there's going to be, at some point, the people are going to take this matter into their own hands. And we've already had the what is it, like the first major case, the guy who like ran over all those people outside that mosque in England.
Yeah,
You know
I've heard of that.
Yeah, that's not going to be a one-off situation. That's going to keep happening.
Like I've tried to tell people that too, that if the government doesn't pay attention to what people want, then that's more likely going to happen more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I'm against killing, but my point is,
yeah, I mean, totally, so am I. But there's 7 billion people on this planet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I might not go out there and kill some people or whatever. I mean, if I was in there, I also, I also take into account that, like, I live in the United States. I live in a relatively quiet state. Like, I don't have like a sanctuary city next to me or anything like that. Like, this stuff isn't a direct threat to my daily life or whatever. I can only imagine if it was. I can only imagine if, like, I had to wake up, go to work, park my car and go through like a mob of people that are out there protesting and shouting like death to America and stuff like this. And, I come home and I found out my like little girl was fucking raped and murdered and thrown in a fucking ditch. And then my wife got raped. You know what I mean? Like, I can only imagine how fucking absolutely livid I would be. And I'm sure probably at that point, if that was the case, I probably would look myself in the mirror and be like, you know what? I ain't got fucking shit going on else. Might as well clip up and fucking go take out some of these motherfuckers. Like, I can see where these people are coming from. I can empathize with like their rage that nothing's being done about this. So I don't inherently blame them. You know what I mean? Like the guy who ran over all those people in front of the mosque as the example. Like, I don't necessarily inherently blame that guy. Like, what are you supposed to do? Just sit back and just let your whole fucking country, like your relatives fought and died for it, your relatives, like these people probably had like parents that like, fought in fucking World War II and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like this, these people fought and died. Like here in the States, we have every time fucking anything war related or Memorial Day and 4th of July and all that stuff. It's like, remember all the people who fought and died for you to have your freedoms to do what you want and shit. And it's like, yeah, people, tons of people have fucking died throughout, millions and millions and millions of people who have died throughout history in order to protect the sovereignty of your nation. Like wanting to keep that sovereignty, wanting to keep France, France, and Sweden, Sweden, and America, America, and whatever is not racist. You know what I mean? It's not racist.
And I get that, and I tried to tell a few people about that in particular, especially with running with an SAW on Twitter. I think it was a month ago when I tried to tell her that the United States was literally made or built on the foundation of kind of revolting against a tyrant, and if we let another culture come in and convert us, then that's literally repeating history in a sense, and it's not right to say that we should just keep America, and the problem with all these countries is that they're largely too afraid of actually offending people. And I'm not saying some of the world leaders are SJWs, with the exception of Canada, of course. But
yeah.
But I really truly think that some of them are just scared of offending a religion, and they haven't gotten that through their heads. And if they did, then I would imagine there'd be a few more countries that are far more willing to say that that they're going to keep their country the way it is, and they're not going to let foreign cultures manipulate it. Like, despite the fact that I hate Putin because he sends assassins to kill his the people that run against him every election, but he does have a point of saying that that no matter what happens, they're not going to listen to the Islamic countries, and they've already made a harsh restriction of what the Muslims can and cannot do in Russia, as far as I understand. As far as I understand, the Muslims in Russia they're technically not allowed to have more than 4 children, and they're taxed a lot higher than regular citizens.
Oh man, got to do something. And the only solutions that are really like viable at this point are still, pretty heartless looking solutions. Like, and I concede that, like, you pretty much got to the point where, people are like, you need to kick all these motherfuckers out. Anybody who's immigrated into this fucking country, they need to be round up and they need to fucking go. They need to go home. I don't care what their home is. Like, I don't care if their home is war torn. Like, they're coming over here and they're fucking our shit up. Like, and, as like a citizen of that country, you kind of have the right to say that. You know what I mean? Like, if I opened up my house to like you, for example, because like your house burnt down, right? You're my neighbor, your house burnt down. I open up my home, you can come stay with me for a while or whatever. And you come to my house and you're like shitting on my fucking floor and you're like breaking all my stuff. And, you wake me up in the morning saying like, you're going to fucking take over my house and shit, and death to me and death to my house. Like, and then like you fuck my dog and you rape my daughter or some shit like that. Like, I feel like, I'm probably going to get to the point where I'm like, you need to get the fuck out of my house. You know what I mean? And if you don't leave, then probably going to have to like forcefully remove you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that sort of makes sense. Totally. And
it's not unnatural, it's like, we're just talking basic fucking human beings here. Like, it's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the way it's supposed to be in countries. Like, the countries should have the rights to kick any person out if they're causing enough trouble. My concern is just if the leaders of those countries aren't getting over just offending the religion's parts. Like, some of them are too scared to actually do that. And if they were more like Russia, then we wouldn't be seeing all these terrorist attacks, because as far as I know, I think Russia is also considering mass deportation, even the ones that came there legally.
Well, they don't want to lose their meal ticket. Like Germany. Like, Germany doesn't want to lose its fucking meal ticket. It's like, oh, they look at the stats and they're like, oh, German people aren't having enough babies anymore. So our population is declining, which means our taxes is going to go down because there's going to be less people in the workforce. So, you know, we're going to have less money for all our like little special pet projects and shit like that. So they don't want the Muslims to leave. They don't want the immigrants to leave. What they want is the immigrants to stay and get jobs and start paying taxes. That's not going to happen though, because no one's going to start and just be like, oh, well, it's time for me to go get a job and pay taxes when you're giving them fucking free money and free housing and shit. Why would they? I mean, seriously, why the fuck would they? And I don't blame them. I don't blame the immigrants that are coming in to these countries and getting all these free handouts. I don't blame them for not wanting to get a job. I wouldn't want to fucking do it if you were just literally handing me life, you know what I mean? And I was on easy street and I didn't have to do like fuck all except for sit on my computer all day. Why the fuck would I go out and get a job? That'd be the dumbest thing I could fucking do. You know what I mean? That's like voluntarily just going out there and like working. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, most people don't want to work voluntarily. They prefer to work being paid. I see your points. Yeah, and I totally see your point. I guess the big reason why some of like Germany and certainly France and all those countries, the reason why they're still not on the bandwagon of trying to fix a problem is probably because of the EU, being that it's part of the EU standard of not deporting minorities, and they see the Muslims as minorities, and I can see how that can be a bit of an issue. What's your thoughts on the EU just preventing places like Turkey from deporting Muslims?
Preventing Turkey from deporting them? What do you mean?
Oh, that's sort of the EU standard for some countries. They literally make it close to impossible for certain countries around the world to make laws where it's easier for them to deport, say, Muslims out of the country because they're causing too many problems.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. No, I fucking overall, I hate the EU. Like, I wish it would have just never. Honestly, I wish the EU would have never like literally been a thing at all. Like, period. Like it's caused way more problems than it's actually caused like good, and it's done some good. You know what I mean? Like I understand that. I grant that. Like it's done some economic good for like these smaller countries or whatever. But even then, insofar as like these countries still could have had like trade deals. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have to have an actual EU. They could have just been like, hey, you know, we're all neighbors. Maybe we should just get the fuck along. You know what I mean? But maybe, just maybe we should still also maintain our own sovereignty. You know what I mean? Just in case, you know, we decide we want to maybe do something you don't want to do.
Yeah, and I get that, and I'm on the same bandwagon there. I don't like the EU because of like if you actually look at the EU, like they're run by a select few people, and those select few people don't have the best interest of the majority of those countries. Especially with the majority of them are like, yo, the Muslims are okay. There's no such thing as Islamic terrorists, and that's why places like Turkey and a few others aren't able to pass laws that makes it easier for them to deport them out easier. Mention there doesn't need to be 156 laws against what you can and cannot do in terms of a pillow. Literally, they overcomplicate the laws to a point it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And then every country has to like follow them too, which is like super fucked up.
And the worst part is basically you can't vote to get rid of the people that basically run the EU. You can only add people to parliament, and I guess that's kind of why the EU was throwing a big temper tantrum with Britain eventually left. Or I'm not entirely sure. Like, is it still in the process of leaving, or is it officially gone?
They're still in the process of leaving.
Ah, I see.
They're trying to decide like the deal to leave or whatever, which I'm under the impression that just like fuck it, leave. You know what I mean? Like why do we need to hash out a deal? Why don't we just leave, and then if you want to trade with us, then we'll make a deal. Like why do we have to make a deal to leave? Like they're talking about that Britain is supposed to pay the EU some money before they leave. Like dude, that's some fucking like mafioso type shit right there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, oh,
It.
oh, you can't just fucking leave us. You know what I mean?
I
You
see.
can't just leave
And
us. You need to pay us money, motherfucker. Like, what? No, fuck you. We voted to leave. That means we're done with you. Like, bye. That's how it works. You know what I mean? Like, people are comparing this to like they're saying, oh, that's a divorce, so like they have to split things equally. It's like, no, motherfucker, this isn't a divorce. This is a breakup. It's different.
I see. It kind of sounds like they're trying to prolong the inevitable.
Well, yeah.
And
Well, I mean, obviously the EU wants England to stay because it's like the third most powerful economy in the EU, and you know, obviously there's tons of other reasons and shit, but one of them mainly being like, oh, well, we don't want you to leave because now you're given the perception to these other fucking nations that, you know, they can leave. And obviously the EU doesn't want that. You know what I mean? Because then other people are going to be like, I mean, look at France. There was a big thing. Like, there was a big old hubbub with their election. Like, oh, well, we want our Frexit and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah,
fucking the EU, you can only imagine the heads of the EU, these unelected officials who are literally in control of all of these countries that were never voted in by anybody. You can imagine the, you know, the panic that was fucking setting in.
yeah, and I could imagine how they were really just paranoid about that when countries started asking just to leave. One moment, I think my dog's barking, so I'll be right back.
Oh, hey, I actually am going to go. My food just got done about 5 minutes ago. So,
All right.
and then you brought up the EU, and it's hard to pull myself away from shitting all over the EU.
It's all right. I show the EU again too. I guess I'm a bit more calmer about it, but I do shit on them too.
All right, man. Well, fucking good talking to you again,
All right.
and I'll catch you later.
All right. Well, see you later.
All right, peace.
Peace. Well, I'm gonna keep the hangout open for a while. I'll be right back. Calm down my dog. Alright, I'm back. Sorry. The dog was barking at the neighbors again. I had to calm him down quite a bit. But where was I? Oh, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I do shit on the EU a lot. I guess I'm a bit more calmer about that, but I do have issues with the EU. Um, Certainly with how they conduct themselves. Uh, uh, Let me see if I can't. I forgot to post this on my own Google Plus account. Oops. I can fix that in a sec. There. Fix that. Uh, I guess the part of the reason why I don't talk about Muslims anymore and the Islamic faith is because I've already been bored out of my mind all that. Granted, I will talk about from time to time, and if you all want my opinion about the subject, personally, I believe that the countries around the world needs to take a very harder stance against the Islamic faith. Now, I do agree with the secularism. Everybody has the freedom of religion and all that, but there comes a time and point when there's one form of religion that's incredibly bad, then at that point it's okay to just put harsher restrictions on that particular religion, just so that you can protect the native the native country's culture and certain history, hard uh, historical stance against the Islamic faith, because I hate it when they and destroy precious historical stuff that bugs me no ends. But those are all feelings and points I've already stated back at 2010 and prior. So I feel like I'm a broken record player, and I've said everything that I could have possibly said to the point where it's me, or I wouldn't say mute, but boring. Uh, no. Let me just refresh the page. Oh, looks like Quinta is setting up a Discord. Well, that's cool. I have a Discord too. Granted, I heavily monitor mine because I don't like the idea of my own Discord being hijacked by other people. If Quinta is setting up his own Discord, then that'll be fun. I sort of set one up just to organize everything. Like I have the Google Plus accounts where I post a lot of my art stuff along with Twitter, but granted, most of my art goes to the Google Plus account. And I also I use Twitter just to communicate with people. Granted, I do Google Plus as well. Then I guess Discord for me it's only used for well, other than talking to people, just sharing ideas, I suppose. But I don't know. I tend to try and be organized about these things. Uh, hmm. Well, before I end off this hangout, I need to ask this question. This is this is more or less a question that's very weird and all, but I've been back and forth, just trying to figure out. Okay, I mean, I know for a fact things are going to get harder and harder on YouTube just to continue the way that we should do. And to this day, I'm still debating on this idea. Like, should I just set a date where I'm done with the SAW/feminism topic for a long time on the air stuff? Because I've noticed every time when I make videos about the SJWs or stuff or the feminism topic, it doesn't really matter. It becomes increasingly boring to me. It seems worthless. And I guess that's why I'm having a very good time with debunking MGTOWs, because that's new, fresh material for me right there. And it's not the same as Steve Shive, so obviously I have fun with that. But with the other ones, it's just becoming increasingly irrelevant to me. I guess what's happening is that, I mean, ever since I created my atheist channel back in 2012, I was coming a long way from a past history of talking about nothing but Islam and why Islam's evil, which it is still evil, by the way. I still hold those beliefs, but the problem is I've talked about that subject so much that I've been burnt out. I feel like I'm incapable of talking about that topic anymore. And maybe the same thing's happening again, but this time it's with feminism. So my question is this. Do you think I should just continue talking about the SAW topics from now on, or should I just move on to the new topics that I'm starting to enjoy more and more? I'm not entirely sure if anybody's watching this, but that's my question, I suppose. I'm going to end off the hangout here. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them with the best of my ability. Please take care for y'all, and see y'all in the next video. And hopefully I'll be able to get some time to actually work on the troll video. But anyways, take care. Bye-bye.